Our topic today is on problems. Now, I know that we all have problems, right? So the reason why we're talking about this topic today is we want to be able to decide whether or not your problems are actual problems or they're pseudo problems. Pseudo meaning fake. The reason why this is so important is because when you're focused on your fake problems, on your pseudo problems, you get stuck in sort of a loop and you never find the solution. When you're focused on your actual problems, they can be solved quickly, efficiently, and you can move on to the next step. So today we're going to go over 3 ways for you to be able to decide for yourself whether or not your problems that you're focused on are your actual problems or whether they're your pseudo problems. And then we'll see which way you want to go. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to distinguish the difference between an actual problem and a pseudo problem. So I want you to write this down. An actual problem always has a solution. A pseudo problem never has a solution. And that's really important to keep that in your mind. So the first one we're going to go over is an actual problem. And I want you to think about it as a math equation. Okay? 2 plus 2. Problem equals 4. Solution. All right? That's your actual problem. Now take that same exact actual problem. 2 plus 2. And now attach a feeling to it. Maybe we could say something like, I don't like math. So if we take the same exact problem and then we attach a judgment to it, we're now diverting from the 2 plus 2 because all we're focused on is that I don't like math. That's a pseudo problem. You can't solve it. Take another example. Maybe you can take the same 2 plus 2, but this time you can say, oh, no. That problem's too hard for me. I can't do that problem. So now you're taking exactly the same problem, 2 plus 2, but now you're attaching fear and insecurities, and you can't do it because you're too afraid of it. So again, instead of focusing on the actual problem, you're diverting and you're focusing on a fear or something else. The third example that I can give you of a pseudo problem is taking the same problem and then saying, oh, no, 2 plus 2, I don't like that problem. Her problem's easier than mine. If I had her problem, well, then I'd be okay. Her problem's 3 plus 1. Well, that I could do. But I can't do my problem. My problem's too difficult. I can't do it. So then what we do in that case is our pseudo problem becomes the fact that we're just judging ourselves and we're comparing our life to someone else's. Well, that's never going to go anywhere. So those are 3 examples of a pseudo problem versus an actual problem. And so now let's get to work and see if your problems are actual or they're pseudo. Concept number 1 is stay in your lane. By stay in your lane, I mean focus on your problems. It's amazing to be a great friend. It's awesome to be empathetic. It's wonderful to be a good listener. But when someone else's problems, when you take ownership of someone else's problems, meaning their problems become your stress and anxiety, that is absolutely going to keep you stuck, never focusing on yourself, and you always are going to focus on someone else. And you think that you're doing a great job by being a great friend, but the person you're not being a great friend to is you. And so we want to make sure that you stay in your lane and you focus on yourself, because the better you are to yourself, the better you're going to be for other people. Concept number 2 is steer clear of fear. So fear will suck the joy out of most situations. And yet most of us honor fear. We actually say it out loud all the time. Oh, no, I can't do that. I'm too afraid. So what happens is we end up creating all kinds of pseudo problems to support our fears. But we never actually get to the actual problem because we're too busy focusing on the pseudo problem. There's a book by Elizabeth Gilbert. It's called Big Magic. And she says in that book, allow fear to be a passenger in your life, but never let it be the driver. When you allow fear to drive your life, well, it's just going to drive you in circles over and over again. Remember, an actual problem has a solution. So focus on what you can solve. Focus on what you can do rather than being afraid of what you can't do. And you can write this one down too. A fear faced is a fear erased. Concept number 3 is stop beating yourself up. So many times when we have problems, we then go backwards and we say to ourselves, oh goodness, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why didn't I just keep my mouth shut? I wish I would have handled it this way. I wish I would have handled it that way. Then I wouldn't be in all this hot water. Then I wouldn't be in all this trouble. The thing about doing that is it creates a mess of pseudo problems, and then you're focused on what your reaction was rather than the actual problem itself. And it'll keep you stuck for much longer than that problem should be going on, because problems do have solutions. Sometimes the solution to a problem is nothing. Sometimes the solution to a problem is just giving a little space, giving a little time, letting the universe sort of draw you to your conclusions of what you're supposed to do, letting your intuition come in and guide you. Sometimes an actual problem is solved by just letting life happen. So believe me when I say that if you are strong enough to figure out that whatever it is that needs solving is a problem to begin with, because awareness is key. So if you knew that this situation was a problem to begin with, I promise that you are strong enough to figure out what the solution is intuitively. So kind of listen to yourself, put the boxing gloves down, stop beating yourself up, and just let life happen.